The piercing wail of an infant cut through the rhythmic clatter of the Amtrak Northeast Regional like a knife through butter. Passengers shifted uncomfortably in their seats, shooting irritated glances toward the source of the disturbance. At the center of the chaos stood Marcus Thornfield, billionaire tech mogul, CEO of Thornfield Industries, and currently the most helpless man on this 2:15 p.m. train from Boston to New York City. His 3-month-old daughter, Lily, was screaming with such intensity that her tiny face had turned crimson. Marcus bounced her awkwardly, his $1,000 suit jacket long since discarded, his silk tie loosened, sweat beading on his forehead, despite the train's air conditioning. "Please, sweetheart, please," he whispered desperately, trying another position he'd seen in one of those parenting videos his assistant had sent him. Nothing worked. The baby's cries only intensified, and Marcus felt the weight of dozens of judgmental stares boring into his back. He was a man who commanded boardrooms, who'd built a tech empire worth billions before his 35th birthday, who'd been featured on the cover of Forbes 3 times. Yet here he was, completely defeated by 8 pounds of furious infant. If you're loving this story, hit that subscribe button and join our community of 10,000 plus viewers who love dramatic real-life stories. Ring the bell so you never miss our next incredible tale. Now back to what happened next. That's when she appeared. Maya Chen was unremarkable in the way that invisible people often are. Her clothes were clean but obviously secondhand, a faded denim jacket over a plain white t-shirt and worn jeans. Her sneakers had seen better days, the canvas torn at one toe. She carried a single backpack that contained everything she owned in the world, and her dark hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail. She'd been watching the scene unfold from her seat in coach, 3 cars back. Maya was traveling from Boston, where she'd just been evicted from her apartment, to New York, where a friend had offered her a couch to sleep on while she looked for work. She had exactly $43 to her name, no job prospects, and no idea what her future held. But she knew babies. Maya had practically raised her 3 younger siblings after their mother died when she was 12. She'd worked as a nanny through college before dropping out due to lack of funds. She understood infant cries the way musicians understood notes, each one telling a specific story of need or discomfort. As she made her way through the train car, passengers looked at her with a mixture of hope and skepticism. What could this poor-looking girl possibly do that this wealthy man couldn't? "Excuse me," Maya said softly, approaching Marcus. "I think I can help." Marcus looked up, his eyes red-rimmed with exhaustion and frustration. He'd been traveling alone with Lily since her mother, his ex-wife Victoria, had abandoned them both 3 weeks ago, leaving nothing but divorce papers and a note saying she wasn't cut out for motherhood. Marcus had been drowning ever since, trying to balance emergency board meetings with diaper changes, conference calls with feeding schedules. "Unless you have a miracle in your pocket, I don't think anyone can help," Marcus said, his voice cracking slightly. The vulnerability in his tone was jarring. This wasn't the commanding voice that had negotiated billion-dollar deals. "May I?" Maya gestured toward the baby. Marcus hesitated for only a moment before nodding. He was desperate enough to try anything. Maya took Lily gently and immediately noticed what Marcus had missed. The baby's onesie was twisted, creating uncomfortable pressure points. Her diaper was slightly askew, probably causing chafing, and the way she was crying, with those specific hiccuping gulps, told Maya the baby had painful gas. With practiced ease, Maya adjusted Lily's clothing, then positioned her against her shoulder at a specific angle, supporting her head with one hand while gently patting her back in a rhythmic pattern. She began to walk slowly down the aisle, swaying slightly with the train's motion, humming a soft melody. Within 60 seconds, Lily's cries diminished to whimpers. Within 2 minutes, they stopped entirely. Within 3 minutes, the baby was cooing softly, her tiny fingers wrapped around a strand of Maya's hair. The entire train car seemed to exhale collectively. Passengers who'd been glaring moments before now watched with amazement. Marcus stood frozen, his mouth slightly open, staring at this stranger who'd accomplished in 3 minutes what he'd failed to do in 3 hours. "How did you?" Marcus began, then stopped, unable to finish the question. Maya smiled, still swaying gently. She had gas, and her clothes were uncomfortable. Plus, babies can sense stress. The more worried you get, the more worried they get. It's a cycle. She carefully burped Lily, who responded with a satisfied gurgle, then adjusted her position so the baby was cradled comfortably in her arms. Lily stared up at Maya with wide eyes, completely calm. "You're some kind of baby whisperer," Marcus said, awe evident in his voice. "Just someone who spent a lot of time with infants," Maya replied. She gently rocked Lily, who was now beginning to drift off to sleep. "She's beautiful, by the way. How old?" 3 months, Marcus said. He ran a hand through his hair, suddenly aware of how disheveled he must look. "I'm Marcus, Marcus Thornfield." "Maya Chen," she replied, not recognizing the name. She didn't follow business news or billionaire gossip. To her, he was just a stressed father who needed help. Marcus watched as Maya effortlessly soothed his daughter, and something clicked in his mind. He'd been through 3 nannies in the past 3 weeks. The first had quit after 2 days, overwhelmed by his demanding schedule and Lily's constant crying. The second had stolen from him. The third had been competent but cold, treating Lily like a task rather than a person. This stranger, this young woman with kind eyes and worn clothes, had done more for his daughter in 5 minutes than anyone else had managed in weeks. "Where are you headed?" Marcus asked. "New York," Maya said. "Looking for work, actually." "What kind of work?" Maya shrugged, trying to keep the worry from her voice. "Whatever I can find. I used to be a nanny, but I lost my last position when the family moved to London. I've been applying everywhere, but—" She trailed off, not wanting to share her desperation with a stranger. Marcus made a decision that would change both their lives. "Work for me," he said abruptly. Maya blinked. "I'm sorry?" "Be Lily's nanny, live-in position, private room in my penthouse in Manhattan, full benefits, salary of $75,000 a year to start." Maya nearly dropped the baby. $75,000. That was more than double what she'd made in her previous position. It was more money than she'd ever dreamed of earning. I don't understand," she stammered. Marcus leaned forward, and for the first time since Victoria left, he felt a spark of hope. "My ex-wife left us 3 weeks ago. I'm trying to run a company and be a father, and I'm failing at both. I've gone through 3 nannies already, and none of them could connect with Lily the way you just did. I need someone who actually cares, someone who knows what they're doing." "That's you. You don't even know me," Maya protested. "I could be anyone. I could be—" "You could be the person who saves both of us," Marcus interrupted. "Look, I know this is sudden. I know it's unconventional, but I'm a good judge of character. You don't build a billion-dollar company without learning to read people. And I can see that you're genuine, that you actually care about helping." Maya looked down at Lily, now sleeping peacefully in her arms. She thought about the $43 in her pocket, the friend's couch she was heading toward, the uncertain future stretching before her. She thought about her eviction notice, her maxed-out credit cards, the student loans she couldn't pay. She thought about this tiny, innocent baby who needed someone to love her. "Okay," Maya whispered. "Okay, I'll do it." The Thornfield penthouse occupied the entire top floor of a luxury building in Tribeca. As Maya stepped out of the private elevator 2 hours later, still carrying a now-awake but content Lily, she felt like she'd entered another world. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered panoramic views of Manhattan's skyline. The living room alone was larger than her entire previous apartment. Modern art hung on the walls, pieces she later learned were originals worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The furniture was designer, the floors were heated marble, and there was a grand piano in the corner that probably cost more than most people's cars. "This is insane," Maya breathed. Marcus smiled, the first genuine smile she'd seen from him. "Your room is this way." He led her down a hallway to a spacious bedroom with an ensuite bathroom. The room was beautifully decorated in soft blues and grays, with a comfortable-looking queen bed, a desk, and its own small sitting area. French doors opened onto a private balcony. "Lily's nursery is right next door," Marcus explained, gesturing to the connecting door. "There's a baby monitor system, but you can also leave this door open if you prefer. My room is at the other end of the hall. I wanted to make sure you had privacy. Maya set her worn backpack down on the pristine bed, feeling suddenly self-conscious about her shabby belongings in this palace. I should mention, Marcus continued, his tone becoming more businesslike, I'll need to do a standard background check. It's just protocol. I'm sure everything will be fine. In the meantime, we can do a trial period. 1 week. If it doesn't work out for either of us, no hard feelings. And I'll pay you for the full week plus a generous severance. That's fair, Maya agreed, though her heart was pounding. A background check would show her eviction, her debt, her dropped-out status from community college. Would that change his mind? As if reading her thoughts, Marcus added, I'm not concerned about financial struggles or educational background. I'm concerned about character. Do you treat people with kindness? Can you be trusted? Do you genuinely care about my daughter? That's what matters to me. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. When was the last time someone had valued her character over her credentials? Thank you, she whispered. You have no idea what this means to me. Marcus's expression softened. I think I might. 3 weeks ago, I thought I had everything figured out. Then my world fell apart. Sometimes we all need someone to see us, really see us, and offer a lifeline. You did that for me on the train. I'm just returning the favor. The first week was both challenging and magical. Maya quickly established a routine with Lily. She woke up at 6 a.m. for the baby's first feeding, handled diaper changes, supervised tummy time, and created a schedule that actually worked. But more than that, she bonded with the infant in a way that went beyond mere childcare. She talked to Lily constantly, narrating everything she did. Now we're going to change your diaper. Yes, I know you don't like it, but we'll be quick. There we go, all clean. Doesn't that feel better? She sang to her, old songs Maya's mother had sung to her siblings, lullabies in Mandarin that her grandmother had taught her. Lily seemed to respond to Maya's voice, calming immediately whenever she heard it. Marcus watched from the sidelines, amazed. He'd come home from board meetings to find Maya and Lily doing baby exercises on a playmat, or reading board books together, or simply sitting in the window seat while Maya pointed out birds and clouds and planes. You're a natural, he said one evening, finding them in the nursery during Lily's bedtime routine. Maya looked up from the rocking chair, Lily drowsy in her arms. I love her, she said simply. How could I not? The words hit Marcus like a punch to the chest. Victoria had never said those words about their daughter. Even during the pregnancy, she'd been distant, treating it like an inconvenient disruption to her social life. She'd wanted the status of being married to a billionaire, but none of the actual responsibilities that came with family. She loves you too, Marcus said quietly. I can tell. She lights up when she sees you. As the week progressed, Maya found herself settling into the penthouse in unexpected ways. Marcus would come home late from work to find her curled up on the couch, reading or watching TV, Lily asleep in her bassinet nearby. He'd join her sometimes and they'd talk, or really talk, about everything and nothing. Maya learned about Marcus's childhood, how he'd built his company from nothing, starting in a garage with just a laptop and a dream. She learned about Victoria, the whirlwind romance that had burned bright and fast before crashing spectacularly. She learned about his fears of failing as a father, his worry that he couldn't give Lily what she needed. Marcus learned about Maya's family, how she'd sacrificed her own dreams to take care of her siblings after their mother's death. He learned about her father, who'd struggled with alcoholism and eventually abandoned them. He learned about her determination to build a better life, her love of books and learning, her quiet strength. On the 7th night, Marcus found Maya sitting on her balcony, looking out at the city lights. Everything okay? He asked. Maya smiled. More than okay. I was just thinking, a week ago, I was on that train with $43 and no idea what would happen to me. Now I'm here, in this beautiful place, taking care of the sweetest baby, and I can't believe this is real. Marcus sat down beside her. It's real, and if you're willing, I'd like it to stay real. The trial week is over. The job is yours if you want it. I want it, Maya said immediately, more than anything. Over the following weeks, something unexpected began to develop between Marcus and Maya. It started small, grateful smiles when Marcus came home to a calm, happy baby in a clean apartment. Shared jokes during midnight feedings when they'd both be up with Lily. Casual touches that lasted a moment too long when passing the baby between them. Marcus found himself hurrying home from work, eager to see not just Lily but Maya too. He loved hearing about their day, watching Maya's face light up as she described Lily's latest milestone or funny moment. He admired her creativity, the way she made toys out of household items, the songs she invented, the stories she told. Maya found herself dressing a little nicer, taking more care with her appearance. She caught herself thinking about Marcus during the day, wondering when he'd be home, hoping he'd join them for dinner. She noticed small things about him, the way he loosened his tie the moment he walked in the door, the rare dimple that appeared when he really smiled, the tenderness in his eyes when he held his daughter. But both of them held back, neither willing to risk the perfect arrangement they'd created. Until the night everything changed. It was 2 a.m., and Maya was up with Lily, who was teething and miserable. She'd tried everything, teething rings, cool washcloths, gentle gum massage, but the baby was inconsolable. Maya was exhausted, having been up for 22 hours straight, but she refused to give up. Marcus emerged from his room, drawn by Lily's cries. He found Maya in the living room, tears streaming down her own face as she tried to soothe the baby. "Maya," he said gently, "you need to rest. Let me take her." "I can handle it," Maya insisted, but her voice cracked. "I just need to figure out what she needs." "You need sleep," Marcus said firmly. He carefully took Lily from Maya's arms and guided Maya to the couch. "Sit. That's an order." Too tired to argue, Maya sank onto the cushions. Marcus sat beside her with Lily, trying his own soothing techniques. When the baby continued to cry, he looked at Maya helplessly. "Talk to me," Maya said softly. "Tell me about your day." Sometimes the sound of conversation calms her. So Marcus talked. He told her about a difficult board meeting, about a new product launch, about the stress of competing in the tech industry. Maya listened, fighting to keep her eyes open, and gradually Lily began to settle. "You're amazing with her," Maya murmured, her head drooping. "I learned from the best," Marcus replied, glancing at Maya. Her eyes were closed, her breathing evening out as she drifted towards sleep. By the time Lily finally dozed off, Maya was asleep on the couch. Marcus carefully placed the baby in her bassinet, then stood looking at Maya. She looked so young and vulnerable in sleep, one hand tucked under her cheek like a child. He grabbed a blanket and gently covered her, his hand lingering for a moment near her face. The urge to touch her, to brush away the strand of hair across her cheek, was overwhelming. "What are you doing to me?" he whispered to the sleeping woman. The breaking point came 6 weeks after Maya had started working for Marcus. It was a Friday evening, and Marcus had come home early with a surprise. Tickets to a children's theater show he thought Maya might enjoy taking Lily to. He let himself in quietly, intending to surprise her. Instead, he was the one surprised. Maya was on her phone, her back to the door, her voice low but urgent. "Mom, I know you need it. I'm going to send you the money, I promise. Just give me until next week." Marcus froze. He shouldn't eavesdrop, but something in Maya's tone, desperation mixed with determination, kept him rooted in place. "5,000 will cover it?" Maya continued. "Okay, yes, I'll figure it out." "I always do, don't I?" A pause. "No, don't worry about me. I'm fine. I have a good job now. Just take care of Lily and Mike and Sarah, okay? Tell them I love them." She ended the call and slumped against the counter, her shoulders sagging with a weight that seemed too heavy for one person to bear. Marcus quietly set down his briefcase and cleared his throat. Maya spun around, her eyes wide. "Marcus, I didn't hear you come in. I was just—" "Maya," he interrupted gently. "What's going on?" She opened her mouth to deny, to deflect, to pretend everything was fine. But the concern in Marcus's eyes broke down her carefully maintained walls. "My siblings," she whispered. "They're living with our aunt, but she's not managing well. The rent is overdue, there are bills, and if they don't pay soon, they'll lose the apartment. They'll end up in the system, split up into different foster homes." "How much do you need?" Marcus asked immediately. No, Maya said sharply. No, I'm not asking you for money. I just need to figure out how much, Marcus repeated, his tone leaving no room for argument. $5,000, Maya admitted quietly. But I'll pay you back, every cent. I'll work extra hours. I'll take a pay cut. Whatever you need. Stop, Marcus said. He pulled out his phone and right there in front of her, transferred $10,000 to her account. For your siblings, and don't even think about paying me back. Maya stared at her phone as the notification came through, her hands shaking. Marcus, I can't accept this. It's too much. You've already done so much for me. Marcus stepped closer, his eyes intense. Do you know what you've done for me? For us? You saved my daughter when I couldn't. You brought joy back into this home. You've made me remember what it feels like to actually live, not just exist. This money? He waved a dismissive hand. It's nothing. It's a rounding error in my quarterly budget. But your siblings having a stable home? That's everything. Tears spilled down Maya's cheeks. Why are you so good to me? Marcus reached out and gently wiped away a tear with his thumb. Because you deserve it. Because you're one of the best people I've ever met. Because you've become... He paused, searching for words. You've become essential to us. To Lily. To me. The air between them crackled with tension. Marcus's hand was still on Maya's face, and she leaned into his touch without thinking. Marcus, she whispered, we shouldn't... I know, he agreed, but he didn't move away. I work for you. This is inappropriate. I could lose my job. I could lose Lily. You won't lose Lily. You could never lose her. She needs you. I need you. You're my employer. There are power dynamics, ethical considerations. Maya, Marcus interrupted softly. When is the last time anyone did anything for you? When is the last time someone took care of you? The question broke something inside her. She couldn't remember. Not since her mother died. She'd been the caretaker, the responsible one, the person everyone else leaned on. No one had ever offered to carry her burden with her. I don't know, she admitted. Then let me, Marcus said. Let me take care of you for once. Let me show you that you matter, that you're valued not just for what you do, but for who you are. Before Maya could respond, before she could overthink or talk herself out of it, Marcus leaned in and kissed her. It was soft at first, tentative, a question rather than a demand. But when Maya kissed him back, her hands coming up to grip his shirt, it deepened into something more. Months of unspoken feelings, of stolen glances and careful touches, finally finding expression. They broke apart, both breathing hard, and stared at each other. We should talk about this, Maya said, her voice unsteady. We should, Marcus agreed. But first, I need you to know something. This isn't about you being my employee. This isn't about convenience or proximity. I have feelings for you, Maya. Real feelings. I think I started falling for you on that train, watching you care for my daughter when you had every reason to walk away. You could have ignored us, could have stayed in your seat. But you helped, because that's who you are. Maya's heart was racing. I have feelings for you too, but I'm scared. What if this doesn't work out? What happens to Lily? What happens to us? Then we figure it out together, Marcus said. I'm not asking you to quit your job or leave Lily. I'm asking if you'll give us a chance. Date me. Let's see where this goes. And if it doesn't work romantically, we're adults. We'll handle it professionally for Lily's sake. You make it sound so simple, Maya said with a shaky laugh. Maybe it is, Marcus replied. Maybe we're the ones making it complicated. They decided to take things slow, though it was harder than either anticipated. The chemistry between them was electric, the connection undeniable. But they were both determined to do right by Lily, to not let their personal relationship affect her care. Marcus officially changed Maya's title from nanny to childcare manager and raised her salary to $100,000, insisting it had nothing to do with their relationship and everything to do with her exceptional work. He also hired a part-time assistant to help with household duties, giving Maya more time to actually be off duty. They went on their first official date 3 days later. Marcus arranged for his mother to stay with Lily, and he took Maya to a small Italian restaurant in Brooklyn. Nothing flashy or expensive, Just good food and good conversation. Why here? Maya asked, looking around the modest establishment. Because I don't want you to feel like you're dating Marcus Thornfield, billionaire CEO, he explained. I want you to get to know Marcus, the guy who grew up in a two-bedroom apartment in Queens, whose mom worked three jobs, who ate ramen for dinner most nights in college. This restaurant? My mom used to bring me here for my birthday when I was a kid. It's real, unpretentious, like you. Maya reached across the table and took his hand. I like both versions of you, the CEO who's brilliant and driven, and the guy who makes funny faces at his daughter when he thinks no one's watching. Their relationship blossomed over the next few months. They were careful to maintain boundaries around Lily, not wanting to confuse her or risk her security. But late at night, after the baby was asleep, they'd sit together and talk for hours. They'd share their dreams, their fears, their hopes for the future. Marcus introduced Maya to his world gradually, dinners with his business partners, charity galas, board meetings. He watched with pride as she held her own in every situation, her natural intelligence and kindness winning people over, despite her lack of formal education or elite background. Maya introduced Marcus to her world too, her siblings who came to visit and were instantly taken with both Lily and Marcus, her friends who welcomed Marcus despite his wealth because they could see how genuinely he cared for Maya, the community center in her old neighborhood where she'd volunteered as a teen. You keep me grounded, Marcus told her one evening. They were in the penthouse living room, Lily asleep in Maya's arms after her bedtime bottle. I spent so many years chasing success, accumulating wealth, that I forgot what really matters. You remind me every day. And you showed me that I'm allowed to dream bigger, Maya replied. I'd convinced myself that my life would always be about survival, about scraping by. You've given me room to breathe, to imagine a future that's more than just making it through each day. But their happiness was about to be tested in ways neither could have anticipated. It started with a tabloid article. Some photographer had captured Marcus and Maya on a date, and within hours the internet was exploding with speculation. Billionaire CEO dating the nanny was the kindest headline. Others were more vicious. Gold digger scores jackpot. Poor girl's fairy tale, but will it last? From rags to riches, the nanny who seduced her boss. Maya's phone wouldn't stop ringing, reporters wanting comments, strangers sending hateful messages on social media, people she hadn't spoken to in years suddenly trying to contact her. The criticism was relentless and cruel. You're just after his money. What could a billionaire possibly see in someone like you? Once he gets tired of playing house, you'll be out on the street. Gold digger, user, fraud. Maya tried to ignore it, but the words burrowed under her skin. Her old insecurities came roaring back. She was poor, uneducated, and here she was dating one of the wealthiest men in America. What had she been thinking? Of course, people would assume the worst. Marcus tried to shield her, issuing statements through his PR team, threatening lawsuits against the most egregious publications. But the damage was done. The breaking point came when a reporter cornered Maya outside the building, shoving a microphone in her face. Miss Chen, is it true you were evicted from your apartment days before meeting Mr. Thornfield? Did you intentionally target him on that train? How much of his money have you already spent? Are you pregnant to trap him? Maya fled inside, tears streaming down her face. When she got to the penthouse, she found Marcus pacing in the living room, his phone pressed to his ear as he barked orders at his legal team. He ended the call when he saw her face. Maya, I'm so sorry. I'm handling this. My lawyers are... Maybe they're right, Maya interrupted, her voice hollow. What? Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe I'm not supposed to be in your world. Maybe I should... Don't, Marcus said fiercely. He crossed to her and gripped her shoulders. Don't let them win. Don't let them make you doubt what we have. But Marcus, look at the reality. I'm a college dropout with $43 to my name who happened to be on a train at the right time. You're a billionaire. This is crazy. This doesn't happen in real life. It did happen, Marcus insisted, and it's real. What we have is real. I don't care what anyone says. I love you. The words hung in the air between them. You love me? Maya whispered. I love you, Marcus repeated firmly. I love your kindness. I love the way you sing to Lily when you think no one's listening. I love how you remember everyone's names. The doorman, the delivery drivers, the cleaning staff. I love how you care about people, really care, in a way that's so rare in my world. I love who I am when I'm with you. I love the future I can see with you. Maya was crying again, but this time from overwhelming emotion rather than hurt. I love you too, she said. I've been terrified to say it, terrified this was all too good to be true, but I do. I love you so much. Marcus pulled her into his arms, holding her tight. Then that's all that matters, the rest is just noise. But the noise was about to get much louder. 2 days later, Victoria appeared. Maya was in the nursery with Lily when the doorbell rang. She opened it to find an impossibly beautiful woman standing there. Tall, blonde, designer clothes, perfectly made up. Everything Maya wasn't. Is Marcus home? The woman asked coolly. No, he's at work. Can I help you with something? The woman's eyes narrowed. You must be the nanny I've been reading about. I'm Victoria Thornfield, Lily's mother. Maya's blood went cold. Marcus had told her Victoria had signed away all parental rights, that she wanted nothing to do with them. What was she doing here? Marcus isn't expecting you, Maya said carefully. Well, that's too bad, because we need to talk. All of us. Victoria pushed past Maya into the penthouse. Maya immediately called Marcus, who said he'd be home in 15 minutes. In the meantime, she stood between Victoria and the nursery, protective instincts on high alert. Victoria wandered around the living room, picking up photos, examining the space that used to be hers. I see you've redecorated. Marcus always did adapt quickly. What do you want? Maya asked bluntly. Victoria turned to face her, and there was something calculating in her eyes. I've been watching the news, seeing all the coverage of my husband and his new girlfriend. It got me thinking. Ex-husband, Maya corrected. Not yet, Victoria replied with a cold smile. The divorce isn't final, which means I still have certain rights, including to my daughter. Maya's heart stopped. You signed away custody. Marcus has full parental rights. But I'm still her mother, and a good lawyer could argue I was coerced, that I was suffering from postpartum depression, that I deserve another chance. Victoria sat down on the couch, crossing her legs elegantly. Or I could make this simple. Marcus gives me $10 million, and I sign the final papers without contest. I disappear from your lives forever. You're blackmailing him, Maya said, disgust evident in her voice. I prefer to think of it as a fair settlement. He's worth billions. 10 million is nothing. And in exchange, he gets peace of mind, a clean break, and no custody battles that would drag everyone through the mud. Including you, Miss Chen. I'm sure the press would love to dig even deeper into your background. Marcus arrived home in record time, and his face went dark when he saw Victoria. Get out, he said, his voice deadly calm. Now, darling, is that any way to greet the mother of your child? Victoria said mockingly. Marcus ignored her, turning to Maya. Are you okay? Did she threaten you? I'm fine, Maya assured him, though she was shaking. Marcus turned back to Victoria. You signed legal documents surrendering all parental rights. You have no claim to Lily, and if you try to make one, my lawyers will bury you in litigation. Try it, Victoria challenged. I'll go to every media outlet. I'll tell them how you isolated me, how you turned me against my own child, how your new girlfriend seduced you while I was still in the picture. I'll paint such a picture that your reputation will be destroyed, your company will suffer, and your precious Maya will be dragged through the mud along with you. So this is about money and revenge, Marcus said flatly. Call it what you want. 10 million and I'm gone. Or we can do this the hard way. Victoria stood up, smoothing her dress. You have 48 hours to decide. After that, I'm going public with my story. She left, her heels clicking on the marble floor, leaving chaos in her wake. That night, after Lily was asleep, Marcus and Maya sat together in the living room, neither speaking for a long time. I'll pay her, Marcus finally said. It's not worth the risk. If there's even a chance she could take Lily or hurt you. No, Maya interrupted. Maya, no, she repeated firmly. We're not giving in to blackmail. She's betting that you'll cave because you want to protect Lily and me. But all we'd be doing is rewarding her bad behavior and leaving the door open for her to come back whenever she wants more money. But if she goes to the press, then she goes to the press, Maya said, taking his hand. Marcus, I learned something important from you. You taught me that I'm allowed to dream bigger, to not let fear control my life. Now I'm telling you the same thing. We fight. We stand up for ourselves. We trust that the truth will come out. She could destroy us, Marcus warned. Or we could destroy her story by being honest first, Maya suggested. What if we give our own interview? Tell our story, the real story, before she can twist it. Show people who we really are. Marcus looked at her with amazement. When did you get so brave? When I fell in love with you, Maya said softly. You make me want to fight for what we have, for our family. Our family, Marcus repeated, his voice thick with emotion. I like the sound of that. They arranged an exclusive interview with a respected journalist known for fair, in-depth reporting. They sat together in their living room, Lily playing on a blanket between them, and told their story from beginning to end. Maya spoke about her background, the eviction, the $43 in her pocket, the 3 siblings she was supporting. She spoke about that moment on the train when she saw a father struggling with his baby and felt compelled to help, not because she knew who he was or what he could offer her, but because it was the right thing to do. Marcus spoke about Victoria's abandonment, about his desperation and helplessness, about how Maya had saved them both. He spoke about falling in love slowly, carefully, trying to do right by his daughter and by Maya. People will say I'm a gold digger, Maya acknowledged. They'll say I targeted him, that this is some kind of fairy tale that can't be real. But it is real, Marcus said, looking at her with unmistakable love. And even if Maya had walked away that day on the train, even if we'd never seen each other again, I would still owe her everything for giving me back my daughter. The fact that I also found love, that's not a fairy tale, that's a miracle. And I refuse to apologize for it. The interview ran with the headline, Beyond the Headlines, the Real Story of a Modern Family. The public response was overwhelming and overwhelmingly positive. People were moved by their honesty, their vulnerability, their obvious love for each other and for Lily. The tabloids that had been so vicious suddenly found themselves on the defensive as thousands of people rallied to Marcus and Maya's defense. Victoria's threats fizzled. When she did try to sell her story, no reputable outlet would touch it. The legal documents she'd signed were ironclad. Her lawyers advised her to take whatever settlement Marcus had offered in the divorce and disappear. She did, signing the final papers and vanishing from their lives as quickly as she'd reappeared. 6 months later, Marcus took Maya back to that train platform in Boston where everything had started. What are we doing here? Maya asked, confused. Lily was with Marcus's mother for the day, giving them rare alone time. Do you remember what you said to me that day on the train? Marcus asked. I asked if I could help, Maya said, and you changed everything. You saved us. You gave us hope when we had none. You showed me what real love looks like. Not the dramatic, self-destructive kind I had with Victoria, but the steady, genuine, everyday kind. The kind that shows up, the kind that chooses to care even when it's hard. Marcus got down on one knee right there on the platform, pulling out a ring box. Maya Chen, you walked into my life when I needed you most. You've become not just Lily's caregiver, but her mother in every way that matters. You've become my partner, my best friend, my home. I don't want to imagine my life without you in it. Will you marry me? Maya was crying and laughing at the same time. Yes, God, yes, of course. He slid the ring on her finger. A beautiful diamond, but more importantly, an heirloom that had belonged to his grandmother, a woman he'd loved dearly. Not bought to impress, but chosen to honor the depth of his feelings. They kissed on that train platform, and several commuters actually applauded, recognizing them from the interview that had gone viral. They married 8 months later in a small ceremony attended only by close friends and family. Maya's siblings were there, beaming with pride. Marcus's mother cried happy tears, and Lily, now over a year old, was the flower girl, toddling down the aisle, scattering petals everywhere, but where they were supposed to go. During his vows, Marcus said, I thought I knew what success looked like. I thought it was measured in dollars and deals and headlines, but you taught me that real success is measured in moments. Moments of connection, moments of joy, Moments of simply being present with the people you love. You are my greatest success, Maya. You and Lily. This family we've built. Maya's vows were equally heartfelt. I got on that train with nothing but hope and fear. I had no idea that a crying baby and a desperate father would change my entire world. You didn't just give me a job, Marcus. You gave me a family. You gave me permission to dream. You showed me that I was worthy of love and respect and happiness. I promise to spend every day honoring that gift. I promise to be your partner in all things. I promise to love Lily as my own, because she already is. And I promise to never stop being grateful for the moment you walked into my life. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. 2 years later, Maya stood in the nursery of their home. They'd moved from the penthouse to a beautiful brownstone in Brooklyn, wanting something more grounded and family-friendly. She was watching 3-year-old Lily play with blocks while nursing their newborn son, James. Marcus came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist and resting his chin on her shoulder. "Happy?" he asked. "Impossibly happy," Maya replied. "Sometimes I still can't believe this is my life." "Believe it," Marcus said, "because you earned it. Not through luck or timing, but through being exactly who you are. Good-hearted, caring, brave enough to help a stranger on a train." Maya turned to look at him. "You know what I realized? We saved each other that day. You think I saved you and Lily, but you saved me too. I was drowning, Marcus. I had nothing and no one. You gave me everything." "We gave each other everything," Marcus corrected. "That's what love is. Not one person rescuing another, but two people choosing each other and building something beautiful together." Lily looked up from her blocks. "Mama, look, I made a tower." "That's beautiful, sweetheart," Maya said, her heart swelling at the word mama. Lily had started calling her that naturally without prompting, about 6 months after the wedding. Marcus had cried the first time he heard it, as Maya watched her daughter play and held her son in her arms, with her husband beside her. She thought about how different her life could have been if she hadn't helped that day, if she'd stayed in her seat, if she'd let fear keep her from taking a chance. But she had helped. She had been brave. And in doing so, she'd found not just a job or financial security, but a family, a real family, built on love and choice and commitment. 5 years after that fateful train ride, Maya stood on stage at a conference for aspiring social workers and caregivers. She'd enrolled in college. Marcus had insisted on paying for it as a wedding gift and had just earned her degree in early childhood development. Now she was sharing her story. "I want you to understand something," she told the audience. "When I helped that man on the train, I had no idea who he was. I had no expectations beyond making a baby stop crying. I helped because it was the right thing to do, because someone needed help and I could provide it." She paused, looking out at the crowd. "The happy ending of my story, the love, the family, the security, that's not guaranteed. That's not what you should expect every time you help someone. But what is guaranteed is this: when you choose kindness, when you choose to care, when you choose to be present for others in their moment of need, you change things. You change them. You change yourself. You change the world in small but significant ways." I didn't get on that train expecting to fall in love. I got on expecting to survive another day. But I chose to help anyway. And that choice changed everything. Not because of who he turned out to be, but because of who I chose to be in that moment. So if you take anything from my story, take this. Help anyway, care anyway, show up anyway, even when you're struggling, even when you have nothing, even when it seems pointless, because you never know what moment might change everything. You never know whose life you might save, or who might end up saving yours. The audience gave her a standing ovation, but Maya was looking at the back of the room where Marcus stood with Lily and James, all three of them beaming with pride. She'd helped a crying baby on a train 5 years ago, and it had led to this: a life beyond her wildest dreams, a family she'd never thought possible, and a future bright with promise. Some people might call it a fairy tale. Maya called it grace, the undeserved gift of being in the right place at the right time and being brave enough to seize the moment.